see, where are my notes here? Where are my notes here? Here they are. And this is the Facebook write-up. Boom. Okay, and here's this copy. And we have to go live on Facebook. Okay, and Chelsea's here. That is so cool. Oh my gosh. Let's see. And okay, live on Facebook. Oh, it says unable to access Facebook account. Why is that? Let's try it again. Live on Facebook. Come on, baby. Yes, it's working. Yay. Okay. There's that. And boom, this is here. Copy, paste, share to your group, and it is the League of Badass Butterflies. Here we go. Go live. Okay. Hey, Chelsea. Hi, darling. It's so good to see you.
Hello. I know. I'm so excited to be here.
I know. This is so cool, man. Oh, and you know what? I forgot to put the, okay. So look, I have to stay focused, which is why I do all my socializing on Zoom after my live stream, because if I'm not focused, I am all over the place and I forget important things. For example, like putting the Zoom link into the description so other people can join me on Zoom. So let me go over and do that right now. Hey, Rebecca, will you put the link in for me? You can put it in the comments. That'll be fine. Chelsea, are you driving? I think you're driving right now, huh? I think I heard car sounds.
I am, but I'm 5 minutes from my house, so.
Okay, well, no problem. Look, no problem, darling. Just be safe. Be safe. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's see. Rebecca is here. Excellent. Thank you, Rebecca. And let's see what I got going on here. Okay, so hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Crystalline Bell, and I am Badass Butterfly. I am a certified spiritual life coach, and I work with women who want to become certified spiritual life coaches like me, okay? And so if you're a woman with magical gifts, like you've got great intuition, or you're clairvoyant, or you have tremendous empathy, those are all spiritual gifts, okay? And particularly if you are someone with these kinds of soft feminine gifts and you've also gone through some hard things in your life, okay? You've had some really painful experiences and you've learned lessons the hard way. I call that hard-earned wisdom, okay? You would make a very good life coach. So what I'm saying is, if you've got spiritual gifts, you're intuitive and you have a strong feeling nature, and you've gone through some things and you've developed hard-earned wisdom, then you would make a great certified spiritual life coach. Now, give me a shout out in the comments if you're watching live or if you're catching the replay. Also, it's so helpful if you would give the video a thumbs up, or come in with a heart or a like or some kind of a reaction, okay? And just let me know that you're supporting me here on the channel, in the live stream, in the feed, okay? Today's session is called The Wounded Healer in Me, how I used shadow work to quit my 9-to-5 job, and I became the founder of Badass Butterfly, all right? I'm gonna talk to you about how I alchemized my pain into gold. And for those of you who don't know what alchemy is this this kind of mythical process of turning base metal into gold. So the idea is that if you've got some tin, okay, you got a whole pile of tin and it's worth about 25 bucks. You can alchemize that tin, okay, raise it up to the standard of gold, then boom, you've got a big old pile of gold, and you have created this thing called alchemy. So for us people who have been in pain, we alchemize our pain by turning our pain into lessons learned or wisdom. Okay, so we become wise, and that is in and of itself a process of alchemy. But also, let me tell you, we really do turn our pain into gold when we take what we've learned, okay, and we combine that with those spiritual gifts like our intuition, our clairvoyance, whatever we have, those gifts, and we create a program that we will actually use to help other people heal and transform their lives. Wow, we are really alchemizing our pain, turning it into gold, and giving people an opportunity to heal and transform, and to give us some coin around that as well. Because let's face it, we are coaches, you all are aspiring coaches, and as a coach, you are entitled to create something that is so awesome that you're actually going to get paid for it. And that is what we're looking for here, all right? So today I'm going to talk to you about my process, my experience with pain. And there are three things that I really want to get through to you today. The first is going to be about the wounded healer. So if you don't know really what the wounded healer is, we're going to talk about that today. You probably can very much relate to the wounded healer, but I want to give you a little history around it and help you understand why it's so important to you, because you can feel its importance, but you may not know the story. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to talk to you also about the importance of shadow work and how shadow work is a game changer, not only in your life, but in your business, okay? And this thing that I've created, it's my thing. There's nothing new to it, but it's the way that I do it, okay? I call it the badass butterfly income generating mindset. The income generating mindset. And here's the deal. If you're working on a 9-to-5 job, you have an employee's mentality. You're accustomed to getting paid a regular paycheck from an employer, okay? I'm not mad at that. I loved getting a regular paycheck. It felt really good. But I also know that there were a lot of limiting beliefs that came along with getting that paycheck. It's like you're brainwashed into thinking the employer is the source of my income. That is a problem, because the employer is not your source of income. Your employer and you have an agreement that you're going to work some hours and they're going to pay you, but that don't make him the source of your income. The source of your income is you, okay? You did the work, you negotiated the contract, you get the money, all right? I'm just trying to say that you can shift your mindset, your attitude, and your mentality away from the employer, and you shift that into yourself. And you're going to create your own divine coaching business. And becoming a certified badass butterfly spiritual life coach is one of the ways that you can facilitate that. And of course, we have spiritual life coach startup boot camp starting next week. So if you haven't enrolled in that, boy, you better get on it, because number one, it starts on Monday. We're having a little pre-party on Sunday where I'm going to get together with whoever wants to join me. And we are going to just talk about preparation, and I'm going to meet you all and just kind of bring us a little bit closer. If you can join me on Sunday, that would be really awesome. Hey, Rebecca, I cannot remember I can't remember at what time the session is on Sunday. I think I can't remember. And plus, we've set our clocks back already here in Paris. So I really have no idea of what time it is. But you all will set your clocks ahead or set your clocks back. If you're in the US, you're setting your clocks back this week, I think. So whatever time Rebecca tells us will be the time that we do. Rebecca, let me know what time it's going to be, Eastern Standard Time, okay, for Sunday. Now you see how I got distracted. I've totally forgotten what I was supposed to be talking about. Oh, we're talking about boot camp. So look, boot camp is going to be a 5-day challenge to help you really understand who you are as a coach, to understand like your vision of coaching, to help, you know, that vision that you have inside of you. But also the idea is to be able to break free from this 9-to-5 employee mentality, like, oh, I need an employer. I can't make that much money on my own from my own business, which is an absolute fallacy. It's just a limiting belief that so many people are carrying, and it makes you afraid to go out and be on your own. Well, I want to break you out of that, and I want to show you exactly how to generate income, and so that you will feel confident leaving your 9-to-5 job, because believe me, you can do it, and it's going to be awesome when the time comes. Okay. Now, let me check my notes. Okay, let me make sure. And also, I should check in and see if anybody's watching. Is anybody here with me today? I know that Rebecca's here. I got Chelsea on Zoom. I got Chelsea on Facebook. Thank you, Chelsea. Is anybody else here? Let me see. It says I've got a few people watching. Can you all do a little check-in for me and let me know you're here? Just do a little, let's see, you've given me some love there. I've got Margaret here. Thank you, Margaret. And I've got Chitra and Brandy. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for joining. So let's tuck into this, because this is going to be, oh, also, let me just ask you, if you have already signed up for boot camp, will you just in the comments, will you please, will you just say, yes, I've signed up, or something like that? Yes, I see you now. And Teresa is here. Right on, Teresa. Margaret, I'm so glad you made it. Thank you for hanging in there. Margaret has an incredible piece of property, and she's going to turn that stuff into a retreat center. I am so excited. I love meeting people. I love meeting people like you. I have another lady also, Tanya, who's doing the same thing. Lovely piece of property, and going to turn it into a retreat center. And of course, you all know that that is my big aspiration to do in Italy, and I am working for it every single day, getting closer and closer. And Chitra says, yes, I have signed up, and Chelsea has signed up. So thank you, ladies. So look, here's the thing. I created this self-assessment tool, and if you have signed up for boot camp, you will get that tool in your email box. It's a workbook. I think it's almost 30 pages of you. It's 30 pages of questions and little tables and ways for you to organize yourself on many levels. So it's asking you, it's saying to you, hey, you want to be a spiritual life coach. Are you in a position to do the work to become a spiritual life coach? Are you in a position to open up your own business? Okay, because we know you think, oh, well, I need a computer and I need to do these things, I need to learn. But you know what you actually need? Number one, you need the right attitude, you need the right emotional space, you need time, and you need alignment with spirit, because we're going to be bringing up all sorts of emotions as you're building your business, right? So building your business, yes, it's about building the business, but it's also about doing self-healing. So this self-assessment tool is meant to help you understand where you are and if you're ready to actually take on becoming a certified life coach with a divine coaching business, okay? So only people who are enrolled in Spiritual Life Coach Startup Bootcamp can get access to this document. So please sign up and it will be emailed to you right away, okay? All right, so let me get back into my notes and talk to you about what I wanted to talk to you about today. So if you, I get this question all the time, Crystal, I am in so much pain and I've gone through so many things, but I am still healing. I am still imperfect. Can I be a spiritual life coach? Or how can I be a spiritual life coach when I don't even have myself together? All right. And my response to that is this. Number one, you don't have to be perfect to be a life coach. And thank goodness, I'm far from perfect, but I'm an extremely effective spiritual life coach because I have a passion for coaching, and I have a passion for pain, and I have a passion for getting people out of it, okay? I have a passion for my work, so it means that I'm gonna be really good at my work because I'm always researching, always developing, and always creating systems to help people, all right? So for you, you have to just be willing to do this shadow work on yourself. You don't have to be perfect with it, but you have to be willing to look at yourself. For example, when something goes wrong for you, you need to not be pointing fingers at everybody else and saying, you did this wrong and you did this wrong and it's you. Instead, you need to look at yourself and say, hey, I'm the creator of my situation. Let me do some shadow work to find out what's going on in my subconscious mind and in my sadness that's not allowing me to move forward with success, but I'm feeling stuck and held back, okay? So doing that work yourself is a really, really powerful way to help you help other people. The more willing you are to look at yourself, the more people are going to be willing to trust you, and the more qualified you're going to be to help other people, all right? Now, the thing that you're also going to need shadow work for is to help you break free from that employee mentality. So we know that your job is serving you, and we know that it is paying you. It is very reasonable to expect to have fear around leaving the security net of a job and working for yourself. That is a reasonable fear to have. But the first thing you need to do is to ask yourself if it's even possible for you to earn $40,000 in a year in your own business. Is it possible for you to maybe in your first year earn $40,000, but to apply good business principles and grow your business from $40,000 that first year to $60,000 the next year, and maybe even $100,000 the following year, right? If you are willing to do that, and I know that you can do it, the question is, will you? But if you have any kind of fear or reservation around that, then you need to be able to, you really need to be able to work through your fears in a way that lets you be effective and courageous. Because even I have fear. There are times when I have fear. I have a big launch coming up. There are 400 people who are signed up for my launch. Do you think I'm not a little bit nervous to go and talk in front of 400 people and to like do my thing in front of 400 people? Yeah, I got some nerves, okay? But I also have shadow work, and I use my shadow work to help me deal with my nerves, and any small thinking that comes up, I use shadow work to help me do that, okay? To help me deal with that. So let me, I want to ask you all, what are some of the fears that you have around becoming a spiritual life coach and working for yourself? They don't have to be money fears. If you have money fears, write that into the chat for me, okay? If you're on Zoom with me live, please type your responses into the chat. If you're on Facebook, please type it into the comments there. But my question again is, what are some of your fears that come up for you when you think about becoming a spiritual life coach and working for yourself in your own business? Okay. And while you all are typing that into the chat, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about my story. So I've always been spiritual, always connected to God. I was raised in a Christian family, a Methodist church-going family. But I left that and started pursuing Buddhism and just a connection to God, just leaving religion altogether and just having a connection to God and nature and life and people and feeling connection. All right. I worked in my family's dental office for 15 years. And I loved working with my family. It was really good, but my family kept me in a really small frame of mind. Like my family had their limiting beliefs about what work meant, working hard. Like basically we had to work 60 hours per week. Otherwise we weren't worth the life that we had. So I had the mentality of working really hard, 12-hour days, literally 6 and 7 days a week, and not enjoying the what we built, the monetary rewards. Had no enjoyment of that because we were working all the time. And that became a strong value of mine, okay? The other thing though, and this is the most detrimental thing, was that while I was working with my family, I thought that working with my family was the only way. And even though I hated working in the dental office, I liked the people I worked with, I liked our patients, but I did not like doing insurance billing, and I didn't like working on, with a collections agency and sending people to collections that didn't pay their bills. I didn't like that at all. That's not who I am. That's not my soul. And it was hard. And, I had, my skin was breaking out, my hair was falling out. I was overweight. I was eating, stuffing down my pain. It was not an authentic place for me. All right. And yet, even though my family was entrepreneurial, they had their limited beliefs. So when I got ready to leave and to go on my own, they were terrified for me. How are you going to do it? How are you going to survive? How are you going to create this? So eventually, though, I realized that I needed to invest in myself and I needed to get educated. So I went to massage school and I became a high-level shiatsu practitioner. I remember investing $20,000. This was 20 years ago. Yes, it was 20 years ago, investing $20,000 in my massage program so I could learn to learn massage, learn anatomy, learn healing, learn Reiki, learn shiatsu, learn the meridians, learn traditional Chinese medicine. I remember making that investment in myself. And even though they didn't teach me anything about the business, I mistakenly thought that my dental office training was going to come in handy, and it did. My dental office building, because I was a manager there, I thought, oh, because I'm a manager, I can figure out how to build a massage business. It's not dentistry, And it turns out actually that it's very different. I should have gotten training for the business end of, building a coaching business and a massage business. I didn't realize that at the time, but that's okay. It was a different age. It wasn't so common as it is right now. And eventually I figured stuff out, okay? So anyway, just moving through my story here. So I became a massage therapist. I opened up my own studio in Long Beach. I did very well. My massage studio was thriving. I did tons of massages. I had 13 people was the base number of staff members that I had. And then, we had specialists, we had acupuncturists, we had psychologists, we had herbalists, and we were all working together. We were doing yoga, meditation retreats. We were doing all sorts of things through my wellness center, through my massage studio. And it was really, really successful, and I enjoyed it, okay? But eventually there was a feeling inside me that came up, and the feeling said, you're watching people come through here, but you are not holding them accountable to the change that they're having. So a woman would come in, she'd get a massage, or she'd have some kind of a consultation, and then she'd feel great. She'd walk out and she'd be like, yes, I feel great. And then a week later, after she's gone back to work, she's, dealt with the children and all the different things that she's had in her partner, and life is happening, and this person's sick, and that person is this, and financial issues and all these things, and then politics and the news and all this kind of stuff. She'd come back a month later, and it was as if we had never had the previous session, okay? She'd leave like this on cloud 9, and then after a couple days, she would descend. And that's when I started praying, and I'm like, God, how can I help people in a better way? Like, I'm happy that I can give people a result that feels good in the moment, but I'm like, how can I actually get them to change their lives? I want to be the person who goes in and makes people's lives completely turn around. And that's when I became a life coach. God was like, you need to become a life coach, because then you get to get involved with their habits. You can get involved with their mindset, and you get to hold them accountable and responsible to the things that they say they want for themselves. So I hope, my friends, that you all are feeling this same desire. I hope that that is what you want to be able to do to help people, because you are also wanting to get your hands on the minds and into the habits and into the daily lives of people who want to be spiritual, who need change in their lives. Okay, so that is my story in a nutshell. I'm going to just check in on the chat and see where you all are. I see that Teresa is here. Teresa says, what is boot camp? Sweet deal. I don't know if I want to be a life coach. I know that I want to be a tarot reader, oracle, intuitive reader. Yes, Teresa, I started off doing tarot reading as well. I did massage and tarot reading. And again, it's just what I just said. Like, you'll do a reading for a woman or a person, doesn't have to be a woman. I work with women, but of course, men also get readings as well. And, it's not about gender, it has nothing to do with gender. But I would do a reading for a person, and they would take that reading and they would feel really, really good. But what was happening is people were coming back and back and back for readings and readings and readings. And what they actually needed, they needed mindset shifts. Mindset shifts come from helping a person understand what's going on in their minds, and then helping them shift their mindset. And that's what a coach does. That's what a spiritual life coach does. We help a person. We look at what a person is thinking, what they're believing, what their thought patterns are, what they're feeling, what choices they're making. We'll look at their past and help them understand how to shift that energy, or that what was wrong in the past, and bring it forward so that it can be healed, so that they can be free from their past. And this is a coaching process, right? So someone who does Reiki, or who does, like oracle readings, might work with a person for 1 or 2 sessions, or they might work with them for a series of 3 or 4 sessions, but it's all based on the energy. Reiki is based on energy. Tarot reading might be based on what the cards are saying, just intuiting. But what a coach does is just adds on that extra layer of accountability and responsibility, getting a person to come back and to account for what they said they were going to do in the last visit. So this is really important, okay? So yes, go ahead and sign up for boot camp when you're ready. If you don't know you want to do it, then don't feel pressured, darling. Of course, no issues. And Chitra says that yes, the fear of failing, and this is going back to what I was talking about before, where the question is like, what are some of the fears that you have about going into your own business? And Chitra, I think that's probably a really good fear, the fear of failing. And Frantrice, hi Frantrice, it's so good to see you, darling. Frantrice says money fears. And I think that Chitra and Frantrice are kind of going along the same lines, right? Because if you fail in your business, you ain't going to have any money. And that money is one of the markers of whether or not you're failing. And look, I want to just say that I don't want to sound like a cliche. Y'all know I don't like cliches, but failing is a part of building, but how you fail and the degree to which you fail is based on your worth, okay? So we're going to talk about this at the end. This is a part of that mindset thing that I was talking about, but the fear of failure and those money fears are valid fears, okay? I want to validate your fears, but there's a way of dealing with those things that will actually help you be empowered and help you use that fear as a launch point for the next evolution of yourself, okay? So what we don't want is for any fear to hold us back and to stop us from thriving, to stop us from being for going for the thing that we want, okay? So let's talk about these fears more at the end when I give you this little solution, this formula that I've created for, I call it the badass butterfly income generating mindset, okay? The badass butterfly income generating mindset. It's very important because what it's going to do is help you understand what you need to have in place in order to generate income. And this, when you put these things in place, it obliterates your fear because you're no longer dealing with fear, you're just dealing with the mindset. Your job is to get your mindset done, and then the fear has no place. All you do is you focus on your mindset, but we'll come back to this, okay? Margaret says the ability to transform the property retreat. Yeah, Margaret, look, you have a big plan. And the only thing I can tell you to do is to start now and to think big. And for everyone working with a roadmap, working with a plan, we're going to go into all this again at the end of this. This is the last part of today's session. But the solution is for you to be systematic and to work with a structure. If you do that, you will not fail. You will not have to worry about money. You will be listening and doing the things, okay? Teresa says, I can clearly see how I would do it and what it would look like and feel like. I can see perk near all details. I want to help others connect to their past loved ones, to their higher self, and help awakening. I have a deep passion for spiritual journey. The fear is that I may not be perfect at it. Oh, I'm a full-blown Aquarius. Oh my God. My worry is not being my worry is not being perfect enough. Number one, I love that. I love your Aquarianness, Teresa, and I want you to sign up for Spiritual Life Coach Startup Boot Camp. I want you to sign up for boot camp. All that Aquariusness makes really good spiritual life coaches, so that's a yes. And you need the shadow work to work on the perfectionism, okay? And I want to say that for Chitra and for Frantrice and for anyone else who is sharing their fears with me. Let me hop into Zoom as well. Walk in style, hey. And of course, I see Tanya is here too. Hi, Tanya. Walk in Style says, my problem with procrastinating and the fear of actually having my own business and having to hold myself accountable for everything and for my own scheduling versus a 9 to 5 that does it for you. Thank you, Walk in Style, because yes, that is the issue. The employee mentality is that it is so addictive to be in a 9 to 5 job because it's safe, it's secure, it's reliable, and it ain't your responsibility. Yes, your job is your responsibility, but what happens to that business is not your responsibility, and that is very attractive. However, here's the thing. When you are in your own business, you do have responsibility to yourself, but you are not, oh, thank you. Thank you, Lydia. I appreciate that. Got it. Okay. The wonderful thing is that when you are in your own business and you are doing this work for yourself, you are not alone. Okay. You have your entire spiritual guidance team working this with you. And this is why I love my program, because my program is all about like having structure and teaching you the nuts and bolts of how to run your own business, okay? Like how to build a Facebook group, how to do this, how to write content, all that stuff is there. How to make a YouTube video, how to take professional photographs, how to generate clients, how to fill your calendar. I'm gonna teach you all that. The other thing though, that is really important is that I work with you and teach you how to bring in your spiritual guidance team, okay? And what I'm seeing, I'm gonna call you Walk in Style because I think that's cute. So Walk in Style, that fear of having to do all that stuff yourself is tremendous responsibility. But if your soul is calling you to that, then it's up to you to step into that. You're gonna have to step into it because your soul is calling you to it, okay? Now, if your soul is calling to you to do that, okay, if that's your calling and you are feeling resistance to your soul's calling, then you need shadow work, all right? You need to do interior work to let down those fears, to break through those fears, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about again in just a few minutes. And Chelsea has sent me a note. Okay, Tanya, you said you're not getting sound. Can you hear me? No, you're not hearing me. Hold on 1 second. Let me send Tanya a quick note. Maybe listen on Facebook. Okay. I'm assuming everybody else can hear me because you all are giving me feedback and you all are giving me good feedback. So I'm assuming you all can hear me. Okay. So Chelsea also in response to Walk in Style is saying, yeah, me too. I have ADHD. So procrastination is a weakness and I'm scared about being able to keep up with everything in my own business on top of all the other things on my plate. I don't want to start and then let people down. I fear about not being consistent enough or being able to stay consistent. Thank you. I want to thank both of you because to me, this is a reality that you have to deal with, which is one reason, which is the main reason why I structured my program in the way it is. So, and look, I'm not even here trying to talk about my program, but my program is 10 months long. And the way that it's structured is that it's built so that you are putting all the pieces in a place so that you are always organized, so that you are immediately building your business in an organized and structured way. Because the first 5 years of my business, it was a mess. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a shit show because I could not keep up with all of the different things that I was doing. I'd write a blog and then I'd lose track of the blog. I didn't know where to put things. I didn't know how to schedule things. I didn't have the tools to organize myself. And I worked for years like always flying by the seat of my pants because I had no structure. Okay. And this is a tragedy. I'm going to say it was a tragedy because it was heartbreaking. I was struggling. Okay. And this is perfectly leading me into the next thing. I struggled and struggled, and it was painful because I went full in. I went from selling my massage studio, right? I sold it for $250,000, and I thought, hey, I'm set. I can now build my business. But no, even with that $250,000, because I was so disorganized, my money flew out the window. Okay. So again, I want to validate all of you all who have that fear of taking responsibility for your own business. Okay. I want to validate that as a real fear, but I want to tell you that there is a way to go about this that is reasonable and organized. Okay. And that will allow you to build with a system. And please don't quit your job before you have your business lined up, unless you are financially set and you've got plenty of money to support you for a year while you are building your business. Do not quit your job before you're set, okay? If you've already quit your job, okay, fine, then deal with what you've got to deal with. But if you are working on a job and then you're going to just have to do both. You're going to work on your job, and you're going to build your business part-time. The beautiful thing about building your business is that it's your business. It's incredibly fun. It's incredibly stimulating, and you will love every minute of it. Now, for those of you who have children and a spouse, and you have other obligations, and you have a job, okay, then you might want to take a longer term approach. Okay, maybe you don't want to try to open your business in the first year. Maybe you want to spread it out. That's perfectly fine. I work with people where they are because I understand the reality of life, and I don't believe in trying to make something happen that cannot happen. So there are people who've been in my program for over a year and a half because they need more time. And it doesn't even have to be because you have children. It could just be because you're a slower learner like I am. I'm a slow learner. I'm a fast learner for some things. I'll get an idea very quickly, but implementing, I need time. Like watching one video, it's an hour. Okay. I'll watch one video that's supposed to be an hour. Takes me 5 hours to watch that video. Why? Because they'll say something. I'll stop the video, take it, chew it up, and then I got to write about it. So it takes me 5 hours to get through 1 hour video. You might be that way. And so you need more time. I believe in being flexible with people where they need to be. All right. And Walk in Style says, I feel you. I really like how she explains her structure in the program. I need structure. Yes. We'll probably have to focus on showing up for it and ourselves every day. Absolutely. And having community and a good structure and a good mentor is definitely part of that. Thank you both, Chelsea and Walk in Style. Yeah, the structure is what I need as well. It's super important. Okay. All right, and Tanya says she hears me you hear me on Facebook now. Good. Tanya, welcome. I'm glad you made it, and we will get the technology. Don't worry. You're in the learning process right now, so don't worry. You made it. I'm glad you made it. So let's talk about the wounded healer. Actually, let me talk about shadow work first. I was going to talk about the wounded healer, but let me talk about shadow work right now. And I want to just tell you how I use shadow work. Okay. Now, I've been doing this for over 10 years. And so I've been around a while. Okay. And over the years, I've collected tons of shadow work exercises, and I've created my own shadow work exercises. But the way I use shadow work is, number one, whenever I have any kind of an emotional disturbance, I don't care if there's a spider on the wall. If that spider scares me and I'm having a fear of spiders. It's coming up and I'm nervous and I'm, cortisol and adrenaline are pumping. Okay, that is me having an emotional reaction. It's an emotional disturbance. After I've taken that spider outside, okay, I'm going to do shadow work. And the shadow work might look something like, dealing with the feeling of not being safe in my own home, or the feeling of being surprised because the spider showed up in a place where I didn't expect it, okay? It can be for any kind of emotional disturbance. Shadow work is a tool to help you calm your emotions and to come back to yourself in a place of safety, or a place of understanding that the spider is a spirit guide. Shadow work can help you do that. And what I'd love to hear from you all who are watching, tell me a little bit about how you use shadow work with yourself. Or if you don't know what shadow work is, let me know that as well. But if you use shadow work, or what kind of healing processes do you help yourself? What kind of healing processes do you use on yourself to help you improve and heal yourself? Okay. Another way that I use shadow work is for energetic disturbances. So you know how you're just living your life and the moon all of a sudden is full in Scorpio, and you are like, oh my God, I have so much anxiety. I feel so much stuff coming up. I don't know where it's coming from. Or Saturn goes into your sign and then all of a sudden it feels like you're moving through tar. All right. Those are planetary and energetic disturbances that you cannot control. The only thing that you can control is your attitude and your behavior while the planets are moving and doing the things that they're doing. So shadow work is a great way for you to look at how you're feeling and how you're relating to life and to things that are beyond your control. All right. Another kind of disturbance that comes is the collective disturbance. You know how when COVID hit, we were all under lockdown and a lot of people were depressed, and the news, there was so much uncertainty, and people were, doing weird things like hoarding toilet paper, okay? There was a problem in our collective psyche. You don't have any control over what the collective is thinking or doing, but you do have control over yourself, okay? Your own attitudes. So shadow work is a great way for you to get in touch with yourself and to understand how the collective is influencing you and how you can get out from under that kind of pressure of the collective, all right? Also for self-image issues. And by the way, you all, when I was working in my 9-to-5 job, and I didn't realize that I was doing this, but I was, every time, I got ready to leave my parents, these fears would come up. And what I did, and this was just me at a very young age, not young, I was 30 when I left my parents' place of employment. Okay, when I stopped working for them, I was 30 years old. I asked myself, I'm like, well, what is it that I think? I think I can't go out and do this on my own. I think my parents are God, and I basically did work on my own self so that I could break free. And I had fear around, investing $20,000 into a massage program. That was terrifying for me at 30 years old. I had never invested in myself before. I hadn't gone to university at that time. And the thought of investing in myself was terrifying. But I had to understand, I had to do my own shadow work at that time to kind of get myself aligned with the woman who could not only learn from, invest in herself, but also learn what the teachers were going to be teaching me and then apply that to my own business. And that's what I did. And that's why I'm successful like I am right now. It's because I realized that I can learn and that I can apply, and I needed to make that investment in myself. All right. So let me get back into what is going on with shadow work and how I used it. All right. I also used shadow work for self-image issues. So, you know how, how do I explain this? So your self-image is the person who you conceive yourself to be. And your self-image might be kind of limited. All right. I'm just throwing that out there. And I'm saying that because so many of us have limiting self-images. All right. And especially if we've had a particularly painful past, our self-image can be kind of limited and held back by the pain that we've gone through. Okay. So your self-image can be changed and can grow and expand into a more confident, more powerful self-image with shadow work. So what you've got to do is understand the image that you have of yourself, be very honest with yourself, and look at your pain, look at your wounding, look at where you are held back, look at your doubts, your limitations, look at your worth, okay? And then what you have to do is use your shadow work to help you break through those concepts that you have about yourself. And I'll just share with you, one of my early concepts was that I am not worthy. I, for years, decades, walked around with a feeling of I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve that. I have to work really hard. I don't deserve something unless I sacrifice and work really, really hard. That's when I'm worthy. And actually, that has nothing to do with your worth. Your worth is inherent because you are a breathing, living being. But that's a theory, like actually living into that is not necessarily so easily done, okay? However, when you use shadow work techniques, you actually will break through those things, break through those negative concepts, and find yourself actually stepping into your power and stepping into your worth. So shadow work is a great tool to help you do that. By the way, I'm just throwing this out there very casually, but I'm thinking about in mid-December doing a shadow work class, a shadow work master class. So if you're interested in that shadow work class, just in the chat or in the comments, just drop the word shadow, please, and let me know. I'm going to just check in and see where you all are here in Facebook. Oh, and actually, I'm going to tell you my last way that I work with my shadow work. It's not the last way, but it's one of the most powerful ways, and it's with limiting beliefs. Using shadow work to help you break old beliefs and implant new beliefs is an absolutely powerful process that I recommend you all to do. All right. Let's see. So I've got Tanya's here. Okay. Yes. Dealing with abandonment issues. Yes. Using shadow work to deal with abandonment issues. I absolutely love that. I remember going through issues of that myself and using some good shadow work techniques. Margaret says, being stronger than my excuses, telling myself what to do, whatever it is, I'm trying to make an excuse not to get it done. Yeah, Margaret, that sounds, I like this, what you've written. It sounds very motivating. It sounds very inspiring and very motivating. And actually, I would say that the way you're talking about this, it sounds more like light work than shadow work. And look, I'm not going to go into the difference between those, but just suffice it to say that both are essential, light work and shadow work. I use both every single day for myself and for my clients, okay? So just a little note there, just something to think about, and we can always talk about that. We'll talk about that in the future for sure, okay? Teresa says, I did research on my zodiac sign to learn how to work with the planets and their energetic energy. I meditate often. Yes, this again, see, light work coming through, started showing myself love, acceptance, strength, and courage. And the most important thing is I started believing in myself. Teresa, that is really important. And again, this is light work that you are talking about. It's interesting that you and Margaret are both coming in with that light. Light work is when you are shedding light and you are motivating, and moving upward. Whereas shadow work, it sounds like it might even be counterintuitive, but with shadow work, what we're doing is we're taking a deep dive into the dark, crappy places. We're going into the pain, and we are working with the pain itself. So rather than trying to motivate ourselves to feel better, what we're doing with shadow work is we are looking at the dark, ugly stuff, and we're sitting with the dark, ugly. Like today, I was out walking on this bridge with Apollo. It was early morning. It was like 5:30 in the morning. We're just taking an early morning walk. It was crisp. And I was meditating and walking. And this old shadow came up and it said, I have, what did it say? It says, I don't matter. When this thing happens, it feels like I don't matter. And what I had to do was sit there in the feeling of, I feel like I don't matter. And this is powerful shadow work. You sit there in the feeling and you let the tears fall and you say, you don't resist it. You say, no, I don't matter. I don't matter. And what that does is it releases your resistance from I don't matter, and you stop being resistant to it. And then there's peace that comes in. Anyway, I'm not going to go off too much into different shadow work techniques because that'll be for another session that we'll do. We'll do that in a couple of weeks. Okay, you guys, I promise. But that's beautiful, Teresa. Really good work there. Let's see. Chitra says, I went through the worst dark night of the soul a few months ago. I had to dismantle all the beliefs that were told. Yes, this is what I'm talking about, shadow work, okay? Dismantling beliefs. I'm 44 years old and I'm just starting to love myself. I started writing letters to the different stages in my life where I felt it was needed. Beautiful. Yes, yes, yes. So, okay, so you all are liking this shadow work idea. Okay, look, I'm going to teach a shadow work class. We'll do it in the middle of December or something like that. I think will be a good time for it. All right. And Chitra says, I learned that the people that I had in my life were a mirror image of myself. Yes, and doing that kind of mirror work is also a part of a shadow work process. Yes, absolutely. Very good. And yes, Teresa, you are a light worker, but you're also an earth worker and a shadow worker as well. You just have to understand that they're all, you work and you use them all. Sometimes you go into the shadows, even though what you wrote down was about the light. Sometimes you do go into the shadows, okay? Especially if you're an Aquarius, because that's kind of our realm. We have the ability to go into the shadow with a bright light so that we can illuminate. All right, very good. So you all have a really good understanding now of how I use shadow work and why it's really important to be able to do. What I want to do is I want to talk to you about this thing that I've been saying, this badass butterfly income generating mindset. And this is not a complicated thing, but this is what you need to have in your mind in order to be a successful certified spiritual life coach with a business that actually brings you clients. Because if you don't have a business, you don't have clients, period. Okay. Now, the first thing for this badass butterfly income generating mindset is that you have to understand that you are the manifester of the life that you are living right now. You did this. You did this. Okay. From your childhood to your adulthood, you did this. Now, you're like, Crystal, I didn't create this life of pain for myself. I didn't ask to get molested by my uncle when I was 5 years old. I didn't ask to do all these things. Not like that. I don't mean like that. Your soul came to this life knowing full well what you are going to experience. And I am sorry to have to say that this world, this life that we are living has pain and it has pleasure. And I know that we are resistant to pain. I am resistant to pain, but I'm also living and working to not be resistant to God. And God is all things. And God created us in its image so that we could come down here and understand that even though we've had pain, we still have the power to transmute that pain, to alchemize that pain, to transmute it into light, to alchemize it into gold. Okay? So you are a master manifester, and the badass butterfly income generating mindset is first taking responsibility for that and understanding that for your income that you want for yourself, for the business you want for yourself, you have to take the responsibility. So there are two parts to this mindset. The first is that deep belief and understanding how manifestation works. Now, over the last 2 weeks, we've been working with the new moon to manifest. The first week we did the visualization, understanding what we want to create. And then the last week we did the manifestation ritual. Okay, and we called it in, we claimed it. And throughout this whole week in the League of Badass Butterflies, you all have seen me making these posts: manifestation tip, activation step, or manifestation step, activation tip. Okay, getting you all to do something every day to manifest, taking a step every day to manifest your business, and doing something to activate another part of you, to get you turned on. Okay, that's what we're doing leading up to boot camp. Next week is boot camp. We're going to take a deep dive. It's 7 days of us working together, looking at you, doing the workbooks, and really calling in this business, generating more energy. All right. Now, understanding how the manifestation process works, we started that over the last 2 weeks. Okay. And the next part, though, is understanding that in order to manifest a business and financial success, you need to start with a goal of financial success. Okay. And I don't want to be a hard-hitting, oh, you got to be all about goals. I'm not saying that, but you do have to know in your head that you want financial success. Okay. Understanding why you want financial success, what you want to do, what you want to create, who you want to help with your wealth that you build for yourself is really important. So taking the time to work on your goal of financial success, please do that. The next thing, though, is where it starts to get really gritty and difficult. Making a plan that's going to get you to that goal. All right. How are you going to establish financial success? Okay. The other thing you have to do is, once you make that plan, is you need a roadmap. The roadmap is going to help you know when you've gotten to another place and when you need to turn left and when you need to turn right. It's going to help you navigate the plan that you've created. So you need the goal, the plan, and then the roadmap. And then, of course, the most important thing is the vehicle. You need the vehicle that's going to take you on the journey to financial success. That is your business. The vehicle is your divine coaching business. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do if you want that goal of financial success is you have got to build your divine coaching business. And if you are on a job working, you're going to have to stay on that job, okay? And you're going to have to build your coaching business on the side. And yes, it might take you a little bit of time, but if you have structure and you have momentum, you keep that momentum going, you will get it done, okay? Now, my point, okay, is that you got to stay on that job, and you have to remember that the longer you wait to start building your business, the longer it's going to take for you to actually reach that financial goal. Now, I love you all, and I love that you all work in the jobs that you're doing, but your job has a ceiling. It has a financial ceiling. Your divine coaching business does not have a financial ceiling. The financial ceiling for your divine coaching business is how willing you are to do the work to keep it growing and expanding and expanding. Like I said, you start off making 40K your first year, you expand, you learn, hey, how do I up this? How do I increase? Boom, 60,000. How do I increase? You live into that. How do I increase? Boom, 80,000, 100,000, 125,000, 200,000. Wow, I want to start really reaching out. I want to reach out all across the United States. I want to create a system. I want to write a book. I want to have a school. I want to have an academy. Yes. The answer is yes, you can do all that. You can't do that in your job. Your job is your boss's thing. Your boss has that vision. You're working in your boss's vision when you are working on a 9-to-5 job for somebody else. Okay, so the point is that you've got to get into the mindset of you have the power to create your own thing and to build your own thing systematically, and you can learn how to do it. All right, and here's the last thing, y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all go. This last thing is really important, and this is what I wanted you all to hang in there for. You need an attitude of self-worth. So in order for you to thrive and to integrate this badass butterfly income generating mindset, you need an attitude of self-worth. All right. You need that in place so that you will be able to leave your job and fully support yourself in your own business. How do you know you have self-worth? And what does that even mean, Crystal? That is like, I love myself, I value myself. Yay. Okay. That's kind of what it feels like. And look, when we talk about self-worth in, just in general, people use these cliches and it sounds that superficial. But I want to break that down for you a little bit. I'm breaking it down into 3 parts. The first part is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy means that you trust yourself to be able to handle whatever task is put in front of you. If I give you a Rubik's Cube, self-efficacy says, I'm going to twist this and twist this and twist this and figure this out. Okay. And I know I can figure it out. Okay. I know I can figure out a Rubik's Cube. It might take me 3 hours, but I'm going to figure it out. Okay. Self-efficacy, when I went from working for my parents and I went into getting my massage certification and doing that work, I knew I could do it. I knew that I could do it. I just didn't know how I was supposed to do it. I didn't, I had to learn, but there was the self-efficacy was there. I knew that they were not going to tell me something that I couldn't figure out. And by golly, if that chick over there could do it, I knew that I could do it. So self-efficacy is the trust, your trust in your own ability to accomplish things and to do difficult things, okay? And to trust yourself, to have resiliency and tenacity. These are important, all right? Also within your attitude of worth, you must have self-value. And this is a really tough one, okay? And this one is gonna, and I don't want to offend anyone here, but sometimes we wounded healers are not carrying ourselves as women of value. The wounded healer has a little bit of a stigma that says I'm wounded, all right? And we love that title, I'm wounded. I'm a wounded healer. And we wear that like a badge of honor. Yeah, self-value means that you're gonna have to put that wounding down. You're gonna have to lay it down. And look, it doesn't mean that you can't carry it along your side of you, okay? Put it in a suitcase, and take it out and wear it like a cloak sometime, okay? But you need to take that cloak off and put it away. Put some mothballs in the suitcase, all right? Put it in a trunk and not wear that all the time. Because wounding perpetuates wounding. All right. So if I'm the wounded healer, I'm wounded. That's your calling card. Okay. That is not a powerful energetic to carry. And generating income, which is what you need from the place of wounding, is very difficult, because income really follows passion and pleasure and high vibrational energies, particularly for those of us who are not criminals. So we can, if you look at like the drug trade, there's a lot of money that flows. There's a lot of income that's generated there, and it's built on pain. It's built on perpetuating pain. And I'm not saying that you are trying to generate income based on your pain. You're not trying to do that. But what I am saying is that energetically and in your subconscious mind, that wounded healer, the more you perpetuate it, the more you give power to the wounding, the more you're keeping your worth connected to wounding. I'm saying disconnect your worth from the wounding and step into your power as a woman of worth, and let yourself rise up to that. This attitude, I have worth, I have power, I am the healed woman. This is what's going to allow you to create a new paradigm for yourself and to be a powerful income generator. The badass butterfly income generating mindset is based on having value and worth and self-efficacy. And this last one is self-discipline. Yeah. So you have to be the woman who does the hard things. Laying down the wounded healer is a hard thing. Okay. You have to become the woman who can do those difficult things. For me to not binge eat is very difficult. And it takes discipline to do that. Yes, I have to do shadow work, okay? But I also just cannot eat the ice cream. I cannot eat the cookies, okay? That's discipline, hardcore. And you have to be able to do that in order to generate the thing that you want. So when you're building your business and you have to write, you have to go write about this painful experience you had, and you have to dissect it, and you have to create healing around it. It's very difficult. It's painful, and it's a difficult process, but the discipline has to be there. If you do this for yourself internally, if you embody this mindset, which is about trusting yourself, understanding your value, being disciplined, right? It's a worthiness attitude. If you embody that, then you will indeed rise up and be the badass butterfly spiritual life coach that has a fantastic business that supports you completely and your family and your dreams. You can do this. All right, y'all. That's all I had to say for today. Let me check in with you all and see. Do y'all have any questions? You have any feedback? Chelsea, you're still here with me. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to refresh the Facebook page. I'm going to see if there are any comments. And Chelsea, if you want to unmute and you want to talk to me, I'd love to talk to you, darling. Or if you want to talk to us, we've got people still on Facebook that's joining us. Melissa is here. Melissa, oh my God, Melissa came to check on me. That's so nice, y'all. Melissa's my coach, okay? And she's an awesome coach. Awesome. Thank you, Melissa, for coming. Let's see. Teresa says, wait, hold on. It keeps jumping around. Yeah, that way we can go into 2023 with a new outlook. Yes, I sure do. And you know it. I can't have light without the darkness. Absolutely. Yes. And Tanya says, amen, truth. I manifested 1 year ago what I needed. Shocking results. Tanya, You are an incredible master manifester. Like, I've never seen a story like yours. You are incredible. So yes, ma'am. Amen. Hey, Jodelle. So happy to see you. Thank you for joining. And Rebecca, thank you so much for supporting us here. Yes, ma'am. Self-worth, self-value, self-trust. Absolutely. And thank you. So do you all have any questions or any feedback, anything you want to say? Or Chelsea, if you're here with me, you can unmute yourself and we can talk. We can talk.
I am here.
Hi, friend.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
I know, you too. Let's see, I can undo my video. There we go.
There
Hi.
we go. Let me unpin myself here. There we go. Hi, darling. It's so good to see you, Chelsea. It's been so long.
It really has, but I'm glad that we've stayed in connections. So it's all good.
And I've been loving your I've been loving what you've been doing on YouTube.
Thank you. I've been it's interesting to see how that will evolve, I guess, because they're what I use for the podcast too. So I just record it all in one and then get the audio on the podcast and upload the video portion to YouTube. So we'll see. Yeah.
Do you have a link to your podcast in the YouTube description? Because I caught on that there was a podcast. Okay, so you need to do that.
That's a good idea. I need to do that. Yeah.
I had a feeling, I'm like, okay, somehow I know this is a part of the podcast, but the link is not there, because it would be easier to actually catch you regularly on the podcast rather than through the YouTube for me, because I do love a good podcast. So very good.
Cool.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with your coaching.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't really think I'm doing much of any coaching per se, but just speaking. Yeah. So I haven't done any kind of coaching or anything, but just speaking on the podcast is kind of the start of what I've been doing. So that's where I'm at right now. So I don't have any kind of business plan really at all. People are always like, what's your business? What do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I just want to talk. So I'm just talking for right now.
I think that's a really good place to start. I mean, so your answer is, what are you doing with your coaching business? I am talking. I am sharing my philosophy. I am developing my philosophy. I think that's really effective. And to be honest with you, when you're talking, I'm feeling like I'm being coached, So,
and that's what a lot of people have, or the feedback I've gotten too, is I had somebody was like, oh, listening to your podcast is like a counseling session. And I'm like, that feels so good. I'm so happy that it affects you that way, because that is, I think, part of the goal. Absolutely. So
yeah, good. Well, and I think that's a really excellent place to start. Look, for me, Chelsea, it was always like, my whole thing is, go into business, start a business, give it structure, give it form, right? And that was good for me, because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I do believe that it's important for people to use their own natural rhythm as they are evolving and coming into coaching, and or coming into setting up their business. But I know that also a lot of people want actually a coaching business where they can quit that 9-to-5 job and actually have, just work for themselves,
Yeah.
You're still doing real estate, yeah?
Well, I finally, thankfully, stepped out of actually being a real estate agent, because I expressed to you how much that was not my ideal situation. I'm still trying to work myself out of managing our investment properties. So that's kind of my goal. It would be to use this as a vehicle, or, doing what I would love to do, using my passion-based business to hopefully bring in enough income to where I can let somebody else take over the management part, because I hate it.
That's really interesting. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Actually, it really resonate. That makes sense, Chelsea. And my question for you is, what would that look like for you? What do you imagine it would look like for you to have your own business that was just coaching? Like, how do you envision your coaching business full time?
Let's see. I mean, I think for me, I envision it as being something more low key and meaningful and purposeful. Like I would look forward to doing that kind of work. Something that'd be fully kind of checked in, and it would feel like I'm doing important work, I guess you could say, just like that passion and also being in control of my time, because when you're managing properties, it's like I have my phone on 24/7 and people contact you all the time. There's not a lot of boundaries that are able to be set. And maybe that's just a limiting thing in my head. And maybe I could be better at setting boundaries for that. But it feels like I'd be able to be more in control of my time, and then being able to use my time creatively and purposefully.
Yeah, I
And
think
changing lives. Like that's the goal, is I want to change lives. I want to help empower other women, especially. And I just feel like I relate so much with you about your story, and basically your whole philosophy on the spiritual life coaching is helping other people who are going through pain overcome that. And that's exactly what I would like to do, like people who have gone through pain, who know that pain, can relate. And I just want to help those people see that there's a way out.
And Chelsea, tell me, like, when you kind of visualize yourself as a coach, do you see yourself working with people one-on-one, or do you see yourself in a class or on a stage? What comes up for you?
That's a really good question, because I think initially I always thought it would be one-on-one, and then I kind of got scared off from that, not knowing if I had enough time to invest. But I don't know. Like I thought I always envisioned myself too as being more like larger groups, like maybe holding events or speaking on stage would be. I feel like that's something in my head that I've always wanted to do, or having some kind of like radio show type situation. I feel like that's kind of old school. I don't even know if those exist anymore, but just some kind of like where people can call in on a live video and we can talk, or a group coaching type of situation. But the other side of it is I don't know, I feel drawn to having that one-on-one or that intimate level connection with a client and being able to really help them. Because sometimes if it is too broad and too like you can't really get into those details and really help somebody with that transition, it's not as in touch. And I think that's something I also like about you, because there's so many different life coaching programs, but they're more detached. Like it's like an online thing, and you're calling in to a group call, and it's like, it's not one-on-one. You don't get to communicate with the facilitator. It's not as intimate, and I don't think it's as meaningful, or you can't make as great of an impact as you can when you're more one-on-one. So that's something I definitely need to comb through to figure out what would be the best direction to go with that.
Yeah, look, I think this is number one, what you just said is so important to me, which is why I designed my program in the way that it is, because I like, number one, I like the close proximity. I like the intimacy. But you're also correct. Doing one-on-one requires a tremendous amount of time, and you can only really charge so much for a one-on-one session. And if you're trying to build your business and build your future, you have to be a little bit more savvy with how you are establishing the business. The wonderful thing, though, about you, Chelsea, is that you are you have such a wonderful presence. You are so charismatic, and you're passionate, and you're heartfelt, and people love you. People just love you. You're raw. You're raw as fuck. Raw AF.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we love that. And it's powerful. And so for someone like you can do a great combination of things. You're also a really good writer. You're a good storyteller. And the fact is, you've got some really good stories. Let's face it, you've lived a very, very full life. You've gone through some things. Okay.
Yes.
So for you, you didn't ask me for advice, but Crystalline's just going into advice mode here. But for you, developing a great group program that you start off with a smallish group, up to 12 people. I like the number 12 because I can get to know 12 people over a certain period of time. Okay.
Yeah.
So you start off with a small group coaching program, and during that group program, it gives you a chance to work intimately with people. And you can do some optional private one-on-one sessions as well, if you want to, okay? But this at least gives you an opportunity to work with a group of people at a time. Now, for someone like you, I would also recommend doing something like having some kind of a workshop where you are bringing people together, again, larger groups, or maybe even co-facilitating it, you with not necessarily with a partner, but you with an assistant, planning some kind of a retreat around some sort of healing in a place that you love. That's another way to support yourself. What you're doing with your podcast, I think, is incredible. And as you're putting it out on YouTube, absolutely doing that, but also putting it out on Facebook, putting it out on TikTok, putting it out on Instagram, right? So you're leveraging what you're creating. So all of these things would be the way that I would approach it for you. And I would not necessarily I wouldn't try to do too many one-on-ones. When they come, great, but I wouldn't try to build my business on one-on-ones, because it is not going to get you where you want to go quite as quickly when you can create a program that reaches 12 people as opposed to just one. And the 12 people, for example, whenever I do my group sessions, I let them go for 2 hours. Right? So a one-person session might be 1 hour, and that would feel correct. But with 12 people, you can make that session 2 hours, and you've worked with 12 people. You've changed 12 lives in 2 hours versus one-on-ones, 2 people in 2 hours. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, I love this kind of formula. And, creating short ebooks for you, Chelsea, also would be something that I'd recommend. Not big ones, you don't need 100 pages, just 10, 15 pages. It's easy to write that. You can do that very easily. You just need a subject. You need your topics. You need your focus for your business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How does that feel for you?
It honestly feels really good. And obviously, I think things always happen for a reason. So it's just, I'm just really thankful and just also in awe about how everything works, because I've just really been feeling that nudge, like you spoke about on this call. It's like, you can't deny that nudge. You have that passion, like you have that nudge, and you can't quiet it down. Yeah. And that's exactly the truth. Like, I can't quiet it down. Like, this is something I've been trying and wanting to do for years. And I think I had to go through a few things to get me more. Yeah. Pandemic. My dad died last year, and like moving again, and lots of big transformations that had to happen in the last 2 years, I think, needed to happen before I could really be ready to offer myself up in the way that I need to. And so it's just kind of crazy that, of course, like, you're coming into my awareness again. And it's not that you haven't left it fully. Like, I've always been seeing it, but it just was something, the energy shift. It was like, just, I don't know. It's super exciting. And I'm really, I like how it feels. It feels really good. And everything you just said, it feels really good.
Yeah, so I'm glad. And I can see it. And, it's really interesting. I'm really sorry about your father's passing. I know that was a really big deal. It gets me even a little teary. I feel a little something
Yeah, it was.
around that loss. But also, you know, your maturity, you've grown a lot in the last 2 years. You've
Yeah.
stepped into something. You've stepped into
Mhm.
your I mean, I don't want to say you stepped into your womanhood, but you
Yeah.
kind of stepped
But
into your womanhood, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And yeah, so good. I look forward to you know, we can talk some more whenever you're ready, offline,
Okay.
you know, and
Yeah.
see how I can help you whenever you feel ready and you need something, okay?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. And Simone, no, this is not just a one-on-one. Thank you, darling, for coming. I'm so glad you came, and I'm sorry that Facebook is not showing the times right. It's because of the time change. I'm in Paris, and uh, we set it up for the time
Mhm.
in Paris time, but Facebook didn't change the time for people like to show up at their time. I don't know what Facebook did. So I'm so sorry, Simone. Simone, if you want to unmute yourself, you can. You are more than welcome to join us here. We're just talking. I already did the main live stream. Look, and you can catch the replay on that, okay, to catch the beginning part. But let me see if anybody else is still here. Yes, we still have people on Facebook too. I'm glad. I'm so glad you all are here. Thank you. And Teresa says, talking is a great place to start. Margaret says, when a physical wound heals, it forms a scar tissue that makes the wound grow stronger. Oh, whoa, Margaret. Woo, Margaret, did you have to bring in the wisdom, the hard-earned wisdom? Okay, you did. More injury resistance. I believe the same is true for healers who experienced wounds in life. We are stronger once our spirit learns to form a spiritual light tissue around the wounds, enabling the strength of spirit to grow. Brava, Margaret. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Chitra says, I've always felt that the pandemic happened so that we could sit with ourselves. Yep. And start facing what was needed. I had a car accident last year, never had one in life, but it made me sit down and see things going on around me. Yes, yes, ma'am. This is so powerful. And yes, you know, look, y'all, look, Margaret came in with big guns blazing. Chitra came in with big guns blazing. Crystalline's going to take out her water gun, okay, her little water pistol, and she's going to say, but it's a big deal for me. But I get up every morning and I go run, and I deal with it. That person in me, that old person who doesn't feel valuable unless she's running, unless she's exercising. Okay, it's a thing that I deal with, and that's a wound. Okay, as Margaret said, that has a scar and it keeps nursing and feeding itself, right? And one of the things though that I'm doing is I'm slowing down the run and I'm running fewer miles because now I want to make it just about the run and not about the wound. And my point is that injury, when I'm not listening, when the run becomes a wound, I get injured. And it makes me stop and listen. So I really appreciate everything that you all are writing about this. And oh my God, let's see, Teresa says Facebook is still here. Yes, we are still here. Thank you all for hanging in. And Kia has joined us too. Hey, Kia, thank you so much for tuning in. Simone, you're here with me. There you are. You turned your camera on. Hey, friend. Okay, it's good to see you. Simone, wait, I don't think I can hear you though. Say something. It's not working. The sound isn't working. Okay, but it's not working. All right. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong because it's okay. I'm sorry about that, darling. Look, I'm glad that you're here, though. Thank you for bringing your energy to the call. I thank all of you for joining us today and bringing your beautiful energy to the call, bringing your deep, profound wisdom. Look, I'm going to just say this last thing, and then I'm going to say this last thing, and I'm going to then let you all go. And the thing that I want to say is that I like this work that I do because we are willing to deal with the pain. As Margaret so beautifully said, sending light around your wound, okay, as opposed to letting the scar tissue build up, is really powerful. But before you make that step, you need to be with your wound, all right? And the advice I want to give to all of you wounded healers that are there, that are here, is to be with that wound as you bury it, okay? As you are in your garden, digging a little hole, right? Digging the grave for your wound, okay? I'm shoveling right now, just in case you're wondering, I'm shoveling out the dirt. Lay that wound to rest, okay? Lay it down and be present with it. Don't turn on the radio. Don't be multitasking. Lay it to rest, and sprinkle some seeds, some flowers in there. You know, some wild flower seeds, and let that wound now be buried, and let it be blossoming something beautiful. Okay, and every once in a while, when the moon is full, go to the grave site, go to the graveyard. And when the moon is full, go and hang out with your wounds. But when the moon is not full, be in the light, okay? When the moon gets new, right? We know that we have a new moon and a full moon every month. When the moon is new, go create with that light, okay? But all the other time, be in the light, be in the wounds when it's full and it's helpful, okay? All right, I want to thank you all for joining me. Boot camp, please make sure you're signed up. We start next week. Now, let me just give you one last recap. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? We're going to meet either here on Zoom on the same link, or you can join and watch us on Facebook. It's up to you. Now, you're going to need a workbook. Those workbooks are being emailed to you. So if you signed up for boot camp, you're going to get the email with a link for the workbook the day before, so that you can either print it out or, you know, it's a PDF. You can write directly in our PDFs, okay? But make sure that you're prepared. So put the time on the calendar every day next week. Okay, it's 5 days for the boot camp, but then there are 2 bonus days. For the bonus days, I want to give you all some very valuable gifts. Okay, I'm going to take you through some processes. All right, so we want you to make sure that you have it on the calendar. Meet with me Monday through Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Zoom or in Facebook. Make sure you check your email. Pull me out of spam, y'all. Pull me out of spam. I'm not spamming you. I'm just trying to get you the information you need to participate, okay? So go ahead, get me out of spam, and download your workbook. Be prepared to work, because it's going to be packed. You see how packed this session was? It's going to be packed. Every